Celebrities are just like us. They occasionally commit crimes, get arrested, and have their mugshots taken. The main difference is that their amusing mugshots make headline news and are plastered all over TV and the internet for everyone's enjoyment. Here are the Los Angeles criminal defense attorneys selected the best celebrity mugshots and hot felon mugshots based on their historical significance, attitude, or style. Bill Gates, 1977. Bill Gates' famous mugshot was taken in Albuquerque, New Mexico in 1977 for driving without a license and running a stop sign. A year later, Gates relocated his startup company Microsoft to Seattle, and he famously received 3 speeding tickets in his Porsche 911 while driving to Washington State. Gates appears not to have been deterred by his arrest. Frank Sinatra, 1938. In 1938, Francis Albert Sinatra was taken into custody in Hoboken, New Jersey on charges of wooing a lady. The FBI concluded that Frank Sinatra did then and there have sexual intercourse with the said complainant, who was then and there a single female of good repute, while they were under the promise of marriage. After posting $1,500 bond for his sex crimes, he was rearrested a month later on charges of adultery, as it had been discovered that the woman in issue was married. Jay-Z, 1999. Guys! Come on, man! Sean Corey Carter, aka Jay-Z, was arrested by New York City police in December 1999 after allegedly stabbing record producer Lance On Rivera at the Kit Kat Club. He was charged with felony assault with a deadly weapon and faced up to 15 years in prison. Jay-Z later pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of misdemeanor assault and was sentenced to 3 years probation. Eminem, 2000. Marshall Bruce Mathers III, known as Eminem, was arrested on June 4, 2000, and faced charges for pistol whipping a man who was reportedly kissing his wife, Kim Mathers, outside the Hard Rock Sports Bar in Warren, Michigan. As part of the plea deal, prosecutors dismissed the charge of assault with a dangerous weapon, resulting in Eminem pleading guilty to carrying a concealed weapon and receiving a sentence of 2 years probation.
No motherfucking further, it's a lot for a motherfucker who just do this shit.
Nick Nolte, 2002. In 2002, actor Nick Nolte, aged 61, was arrested in Malibu for DUI and a drug charge related to the influence of gamma-hydroxybutyrate, commonly referred to as GHB. Nick Nolte's notorious mugshot became one of the most widely shared mugshots on the internet throughout history. Nolte later reflected in his memoir. It went viral, my hair untamed, my expression disconcerting, resembling an asylum inmate on a whimsical adventure. In 1992, People magazine declared me the sexiest man alive, and now, a decade later, I appeared to everyone as a madman. Jeremy Meeks, hot felon, 2014. Jeremy Meeks, a former member of the Crips gang and a convicted felon, gained notoriety following the release of his mugshot.
I know you are. You're trying.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Following his arrest during a California gang sweep known as Operation Ceasefire, Stockton police shared his mugshot on their Facebook page. His hot felon mugshot gained immense popularity, accumulating over 96,000 likes. During his time in prison for firearm and grand theft charges, Meeks was approached for a modeling contract and has since become a fashion model with over 1.6 million Instagram followers. David Bowie, 1976. English rock icon David Bowie, born David Robert Jones, posed for a striking mugshot following his arrest for marijuana possession in Rochester, New York, in May 1976 after a performance at the Community War Memorial. Both Bowie and Iggy Pop faced arrest after police discovered 6 ounces of marijuana in their hotel rooms. Iggy Pop and David Bowie were incarcerated for 1 night before being released on bail. The grand jury chose not to indict them, resulting in the dismissal of the drug charges.
I'm sorry, I have to tell the truth. I cannot tell a lie.
Keanu Reeves, 1993. In May 1993, good-looking movie star actor Keanu Reeves was arrested in Los Angeles, California, for driving under the influence and reckless driving. Reeves reportedly confessed to driving under the influence, yet no charges were filed against him.
What do you think happens when we die, Keanu Reeves?
I know that the ones who love us will miss us.
James Brown, 2004. James Brown, the legendary godfather of soul, 70, had his share of encounters with the law. In January 2004, Brown was arrested in Aiken County, South Carolina, facing charges of domestic violence against his 33-year-old wife, Tommy Ray Brown. Brown has been arrested several times throughout the years due to incidents of domestic violence involving multiple wives. Brown entered a no-contest plea and settled a fine exceeding $1,000. Robert Downey Jr., 1999. In 1999, Robert Downey Jr. was taken into custody in California due to a bench warrant that had been issued for his failure to complete mandatory drug tests while on probation for drug charges from 1996, which included possession of heroin, cocaine, and .357 Magnum handgun. Downey faced multiple arrests before ultimately overcoming his battles with drugs. In November 2000, he was taken into custody at the Merv Griffith Resort in Palm Springs for drug possession, and again in April 2001 in Culver City for the use of a controlled substance. Al Pacino, 1961.
Bitch, she got a great ass!
The year 1961 saw the arrest of Alfred James Pacino in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, for the crime of concealed weapon possession. Wearing black face masks, Pacino and two companions continued driving in a circle around the identical block. The suspicious car was stopped by the police, who then searched it and discovered a loaded .38 caliber pistol in the trunk. Pacino was held for 3 days in jail after being arrested for carrying a concealed weapon. He was unable to post the $2,000 bail. Ultimately, the charges were dropped. Justin Bieber, 2014. Justin Bieber and the singer Khalil were arrested in Miami, Florida in 2014, allegedly for drag racing a yellow Lamborghini, resisting arrest, and driving under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, or prescription drugs. Bieber later pleaded guilty to resisting arrest without violence, as well as a lesser charge of driving carelessly.
Mr. Bieber, you are charged with the following: DUI, alcohol, or drugs.
Elvis Presley, 1970. This fashionable and well-known mugshot is thought to be a forgery. Rather, it was taken by the Denver, Colorado Police Department on November 17, 1970, for Elvis's honorary police badge. Elvis was being recognized for his contribution to the construction of a local gymnasium when the iconic mugshot was taken. Martin Luther King Jr., 1956. Martin Luther King Jr. was famously arrested in 1956 in Montgomery, Alabama, while participating in the Rosa Parks-inspired bus boycotts against bus segregation. In 1964, King received the Nobel Peace Prize for combating racial inequality through nonviolent resistance. He was the youngest man ever to receive the Nobel Prize at the age of 35. Lindsay Lohan, 2010. Lindsay D. Lohan has been arrested multiple times. In 2010, she was photographed after being booked into California's Linwood Jail for probation violations. Lohan was sentenced to 3 months in jail and 90 days in rehab for repeatedly violating probation terms following 2 DUI arrests in 2007. Bruno Mars, 2010. In 2010, singer Peter Gene Hernandez, aka Bruno Mars, was arrested for felony cocaine possession in a bathroom at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Mars pled guilty to possessing cocaine, 2.6 grams. Charges were eventually dismissed as part of his plea agreement after he paid a $2,000 fine and completed 200 hours of community service and 8 hours of drug counseling. Meek Mill, 2017. Meek Mill, whose real name is Robert Ray Meek Williams, was arrested in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 2017 for breaking the terms of his probation for a drug and gun case from 2008. Mill got 2 to 4 years in prison for getting into a fight at the St. Louis airport and for riding a dirt bike in his New York music video. People all over the world wanted to change the way the criminal justice system worked because of Mill's case. It led to protests, high-profile op-eds by Jay-Z and Kevin Hart, and calls for changes to probation and sentencing guidelines. It took 12 years, but Mill's misdemeanor lawyer was able to get the charge dropped to a misdemeanor firearm charge in 2019. Mick Jagger, 1967.
Which I just don't have any interest in politics, you know.
This stylish mugshot of Mick Jagger was taken in Sussex, England in 1967 when he was arrested for having amphetamine. He was with Keith Richards, whose house was open for guests to smoke pot. Jagger and Richards were both found guilty and sent to prison, but they took the drug charges to court, and the charges were thrown out. Nina Dobrev, 2009. Nina Dobrev, whose real name is Nikolina Konstantinova Dobreva, and Jessica Akola, Sarah Canning, and Kayla Ewell, who all play characters on The Vampire Diaries, were arrested in Smar, Georgia in 2009 for hanging from a bridge and flashing drivers on I-72. The group, which included several very attractive models, was charged with disorderly conduct and told to pay a $4,000 fine. Mickey Rourke, 1994. For abusing his 25-year-old wife, Carrie Otis, Philip Andre Mickey Rourke Jr. was arrested in Los Angeles, California in 1994. During an argument at their publicist's office, Rourke is said to have hit Otis, slapped her, and kicked her. At that time, Rourke was taking a break from acting to become a professional boxer. Later, charges of domestic violence were dropped. Cher, 1959. In this arrest photo, Sherilyn Sarkeesian, also known as Cher, was only 13 years old. Cher was arrested in Los Angeles, California in 1959 for borrowing a friend's car and driving it without a license. 50 Cent, 1994. In August 1994, rapper Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, was photographed at age 19 while serving time in the New York State Department of Correctional Services. Jackson pleaded guilty to felony charges of heroin and crack cocaine distribution. Paris Hilton, 2010.
This court finds that the guilty pleas have been freely and voluntarily entered.
When a container of cocaine fell out of Paris Hilton's handbag at the Wynn Las Vegas Hotel in 2010, she was arrested on suspicion of felony cocaine possession in Las Vegas, Nevada. She subsequently entered guilty pleas to 2 misdemeanor offenses: obstructing an officer and drug possession. In addition to completing an intensive substance abuse program, she was sentenced to 200 hours of community service and a year of probation. Khloe Kardashian, 2008. After breaking the terms of her probation following a DUI conviction in 2007, reality TV star Khloe Kardashian checked herself into the Los Angeles County Jail in California. In 2008, Khloe failed to fulfill her probationary obligations to complete the community service and alcohol education program. Due to overcrowding, Khloe was released from jail just 30 hours after being sentenced to up to 30 days. Snoop Dogg, 1993. In 1993, Calvin Cortazar Broadus Jr., popularly known as Snoop Dogg, turned himself in to face murder charges in connection with Philip Woldemarian's shooting death in the Palms neighborhood of Los Angeles, California. All charges against him were later dropped. Tyga, 2012. Rapper Tyga, whose real name is Michael Ray Stevenson, was arrested in Las Vegas in 2012 because of an unfulfilled bench warrant. The warrant was issued because of 4 unresolved past incidents, including driving without a license, registration violations, and other financial responsibility crimes, according to media reports. Chris Tucker, 2005. In April 2005, Christopher Tucker, also known as Chris Tucker, was taken into custody in Georgia for driving recklessly. The police tried to pull Tucker over while he was traveling at 109 miles per hour in his Bentley. He stopped after 10 miles of pursuit. Tucker paid a $6,999 fine after entering a guilty plea to speeding and evading the police. Terrence Howard, 2000. In August 2000, Terrence Howard was taken into custody on charges of assaulting a flight attendant for Continental Airlines. When the plane touched down in Cleveland, Ohio, Howard was arrested. Afterwards, the misdemeanor charges were dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. Tupac Shakur, 1993. Tupac Amaru Shakur, also known as Tupac and Machiavelli, was arrested along with 3 of his friends for sexually abusing a 19-year-old woman he met at a nightclub in New York. He was given a 4.5-year prison sentence, but after only 9 months at Clinton Correctional Facility, he was released early. Shakur died in September 1996 after being shot. There has never been a formal investigation into his murder. Shia LaBeouf, 2007. LaBeouf has been imprisoned 5 times, beginning with his arrest for shoplifting Nike Cortezes from a store when he was 9 years old, according to his essay, Error Breeds Sense. Shia LaBeouf was arrested in 2007 for misdemeanor trespassing in Chicago, Illinois, as shown in this mugshot. He repeatedly went to a Walgreens in one night while intoxicated, and despite repeated requests from security, he would not leave.
Shia! Make sure you're hitting people on the head.
Shia, do you have anything else to say?
Shia, were you on any drugs?
Later, the charges were dropped. So, what do you think of these celebrities' mugshots? Please leave us a comment and don't forget to subscribe for more famous people stories. Thanks for watching!